How good is Dio at tracking someone down? Give Sherlock Holmes a crime scene. He'll need time. Give Dio a set of hoofprints. He'll give you a profile. Earlier in the race, his horse was injured, dropping him out of the lead pack. It takes over half a month before he's back in the race. On the road again, a black man by the roadside suddenly calls out his name. Dio pulls his horse to a stop, giving the man a slow once over. Have we met? You don't look like a steel ball run contestant. The man answers calmly. Who I am doesn't matter. Yesterday, we secured the Saint's ears and right arm. Dio is taken aback. You've already killed Johnny and Gyro? No, they got away. The president chose to let them go because the next corpse part must be found through those two. The man didn't come for small talk. He's here to collect on Dio's debt, to help the president smoke out the mole who stole the letter. Only then does it click for Dio. He still has an unfinished deal with the president. Sandman may have failed his mission, but Dio's part of the deal still stands. Based on the hoofprints at the scene, that person should be a woman weighing under 51 kilograms. The man presses him further. How do you know it's a woman? I don't believe any woman could ride 50 kilometers through the rain all night. Dio shrugs slightly. Not necessarily a woman. Could be a small-built man or even an old man. Whatever the case, the person doesn't weigh more than 51 kilograms. That's all I know. We're even now. The man says nothing after hearing this. He turns and leaves. Dio heads back to the track. To him, this whole thing isn't worth a second thought. He couldn't care less about the president's messy business. Inside the government residence in Chicago, the man reports Dio's intel. The president immediately rejects it. Impossible. There were no women among the officials in the building that day. He had already ordered an investigation into Mountain Tim's connections and found nothing. Before coming here, the man had compiled a full list of everyone who entered or left Kansas City that day, officials and their families included, a total of 1,364 people, including minors. 282 of them weigh under 51 kilograms, 147 women, 135 men. The traitor must be among them. The president falls into brief silence, then finally says, perhaps we should trust Dio. For now, limit the search to women, and this person can read lips. We need to find them, fast. With Dio's help, the mole who infiltrated the Kansas City government and stole the president's confidential letter finally began to surface. The president had already narrowed the original 1,364 suspects down to 147, but 147 was still far too many. Were they really going to interrogate them one by one? At that moment, one of the president's men, Mike O, stepped forward. He pulled a phone out of his bag, the very one Lucy had used at the scene, to contact Mountain Tim. Then he took out another bag. Inside were copper nails, each about a foot long. He picked one up, held it to his lips, and blew. The nail swelled up like a balloon. After a few twists and turns, he shaped it into a dog, and then, somehow, he shoved the entire balloon dog into the phone's receiver. The phone burst on the spot. The balloon dog exploded with it, turning back into a copper nail. Mike O picked it up, completely confident. The scent of the last person who used this phone. It's already been captured. As he spoke, he blew 2 more dogs out of nails. This time, they actually barked. My balloon dogs will track down the one woman among these suspects who carries the same scent. Mr. President, grant me permission to execute her on the spot. The president looked at the grotesque dogs and replied calmly, fine, you have my permission. If you can find her. At the same time, 2 of Mr. Steele's assistants were venting to him. Recently, government agents have been hauling us in again and again for questioning. They kept asking the same things. Did we leave the city the night before the contestants arrived in Kansas City? Did our wives or daughters leave town? What do we weigh? Is it under 51 kilograms? Have we ever learned lip reading? None of it made any sense. We had no idea what they were after. Steele frowned. They questioned you two? Did you break any laws? The 2 men shook their heads repeatedly. Of course not. Steele thought for a moment. Wasn't there a massive storm that night in Kansas City? Who would go out in that kind of weather? And besides, they never questioned me. After a pause, he waved it off. The government does things we don't always understand. Don't worry about it. Just get back to work. Lucy had heard everything from where she sat nearby. Steele still had matters to attend to for the race. So after a quick farewell, he hurried off. As soon as her husband was out of sight, sweat began to bead on Lucy's forehead. Under 51 kilograms? How did the president even know her weight? And lip reading? The staff's wives and daughters? At this rate, it wouldn't be long before they found her. And when that happened, both she and her husband would be as good as dead. To save her husband, this 14-year-old girl opens a book that is strictly X-rated. As the investigation deepens, the president begins narrowing down the suspects. Lucy stealing the letter, digging up the saint's corpse. It's only a matter of time before everything points back to her. The moment she realizes this, Lucy can't sit still anymore. If she doesn't act now, she and her husband are as good as dead. Then she remembers Gyro. She she's still holding the saint's right eye he gave her. His plan was simple: get close to the president and steal the heart of the saint. Now, she has no choice but to follow through. But the president of the United States? That's not someone you can just walk up to. The more she thinks about it, the more hopeless it feels. Tears start falling, and then something clicks. If not the president, what about the First Lady? Lucy looks down at the eye in her hand, then bolts straight to the library. At the desk, she finds the First Lady's borrowing record. 4 books this month. Following that list, Lucy checks out 2 of them: A Secret Engagement and The Sign of 4. She opens the first one. What the hell? A Secret Engagement is full of explicit illustrations. Women pressed against each other, completely exposed. In that instant, it's like a whole new world opens up to her. That afternoon, Lucy waits along the First Lady's usual route, book in hand. As the wife of the Steel Ball Run's organizer, she's already part of high society. Just as she expected, the First Lady approaches her first. After a brief exchange, the First Lady sits beside her. Lucy casually tilts the book in her direction. The moment she sees the title, the First Lady lights up. It's the latest work by Conan Doyle, the second Sherlock Holmes story. She's just finished it. Lucy smiles to herself. Of course you have. But out loud, she says, "Really? You like Holmes too?" No spoilers. I'm only halfway through. Mid-conversation, Lucy suddenly collapses into her arms, her hand brushing where it shouldn't. The guards tense up instantly, thinking it's an attack. Lucy quickly explains, "I stood up too fast, got a little dizzy," and then she collapses into her arms again. This time, she goes further, her tongue grazing the First Lady's neck. The guards move in, but the First Lady raises a hand, stopping them. Then, gently stroking Lucy's head, she says, "It's all right, Lucy. You must be exhausted from the journey. Just rest here." Inside, Lucy can't help but smile. Just as she thought, the First Lady really was into women. Her plan worked. The First Lady, a lesbian, to get close to the president and steal the saint's heart from his body, Lucy manages to win the First Lady's favor. They return to the residence. After skipping ahead a bit, Lucy prepares to take her leave, but the First Lady leans in and says, "My name is Scarlet. Just call me Scarlet." Lucy plays it modest. "I wouldn't dare address you so casually, Madam First Lady." The woman cups her face and turns it toward her. "But I want you to call me that, Lucy. Everyone calls me First Lady. I want you to say my name." "Say it out loud, Scarlet." As they embrace, Lucy's attention is entirely on the president outside the window. Once he's out of sight, Lucy finally does as she's told. Leaning in close to the First Lady's ear, she calls out, "Scarlet." A satisfied smile spreads across her face. "Oh, so good." Then she adds, "You can stay here, have some tea, spend the whole afternoon in peace." Lucy hesitates. "If I stay, won't I disturb the staff?" The First Lady replies, "The president's room is 3 rooms away. He won't hear a thing, no matter what we do. Besides, he should be taking his nap about now." "Oh, he takes naps? That's the first time I've heard of a president doing that." As they talk, the First Lady leans against Lucy again. She's curious. How did Lucy end up with Mr. Steele? There's a 3-5-year age gap between them. He's old enough to be her father. "Are you like me?" she asks. "I married the president for his power and wealth. Our relationship is terrible." Lucy doesn't know how to respond. Sensing the awkwardness, the First Lady quickly laughs it off, saying she was only joking. She tells Lucy about the first time she met the president, 15 years ago in the same small town. At a dance, they shared a single dance together, but something strange stood out. He moved in total silence. No matter how he stepped, not a single sound came from the floor. That's what captivated her. "That's why I married him." No sound? Lucy is intrigued and asks her to go on. The First Lady continues, "No matter what shoes he wears or what surface he walks on, he makes no sound. That hasn't changed to this day. As for why, I have no idea. What's even more incredible, there was a mandolin lying on the floor that night. He even danced across the strings with his feet to play a tune. With his weight, he still moved lightly, dancing across the strings. It was unbelievable. 2 years ago, he ran for president. His decisions are always fast and always right. He's decisive, efficient, yet gentle at heart. That's what I fell for." What seems like casual conversation quietly gives Lucy a few clues. The First Lady actually tells Lucy to sit on her face.
"This is exciting me. Come now, hurry, it's time."
Just moments ago, Lucy staged a chance encounter with the First Lady to get close to the president and steal the saint's corpse. And it worked. The First Lady took a liking to her. The two head into a room. The First Lady begins teasing her relentlessly.
"Can I play with your lips?"
Lucy doesn't fully resist, just enough to keep things going. And that only makes Scarlet more excited.
"I want you to sit on me. I want you to squish me on my face. face, Lucy. I want you to squish me with that cute little butt.
Lucy goes along with it.
Oh my, squish my face.
In the middle of all that excitement, Scarlett slowly drifts off to sleep. While they were talking, Lucy had already slipped sleeping pills into the tea. After all that time, the drug finally kicks in. The longer she waits, the more dangerous it gets. There's no turning back now. After confirming Scarlett is fully unconscious, Lucy takes out the Saint's right eye and quietly heads toward the president's room. There are 5 guards in the hallway, and likely more in the courtyard. Using lip reading, Lucy figures out what the president said outside. He told his subordinates he was going to take a nap, wake him in 30 minutes. She checks the time. It's already 1:25. No time left. She has to finish everything in 5 minutes. Moments later, Lucy reaches the president's door. As expected, he's still lying in bed. All she has to do is slip in quietly and place the eye on his chest. Then she can take the corpse. But the president is no ordinary man. Someone's sneaking up to his door. There's no way he wouldn't notice. He calls out several times. No response. Then he shouts, "Who's there? Show yourself now." The door slowly opens. Lucy steps inside. The president doesn't look surprised at all. Because Lucy is wearing the First Lady's face, when did she gain an ability like that? To steal the Saint's heart, Lucy has already made her way into the president's room. But unexpectedly, she's discovered by the president while he's napping. And yet, he doesn't look surprised. Because Lucy is wearing the First Lady's face, when did she get an ability like that? Turns out, Lucy has more allies than just Gyro and Johnny. Hot Pants has been helping her from the shadows. Before Lucy met the First Lady, Hot Pants had already met with her. She sprayed flesh-like foam onto Lucy's face using her ability. As long as that layer touches someone else, it begins to transform until it perfectly mimics their appearance. This ability can only be used once. Afterward, you just peel the mask off to remove it. Back at the Mississippi River, Hot Pants searched both Gyro and Johnny thoroughly, but found no sign of the Saint's right eye. Not long after, she received word. The president was searching for women, weighing under 51 kilograms. Lucy was the first person she thought of, and now it's clear. Her guess was right, and thankfully, she found Lucy before the president did. She isn't Lucy's ally, not exactly, but given the situation, she's willing to help her at full strength, to take the corpse from the president, as long as Lucy hands the stolen corpse over to her. Who exactly is Hot Pants? And why did she approach Lucy, even offering to help her take the president's corpse? Pressed by Lucy, Hot Pants finally speaks. "I can only tell you this. I'm from the Vatican. I joined this race for one reason, to collect the corpse. The flesh spray Hot Pants used earlier can perfectly replicate someone's face, hairstyle, even their eye color. If the person has a distinct body scent, it can copy that too. No matter what kind of ability the president has, as long as you remove the Saint's heart, his stand power will disappear with it." Lucy hesitates. "You're saying just by holding this eyeball, the heart will come out on its own?" Hot Pants places her left hand against it, and in an instant, the Saint's left arm bursts out. "See? Just like that. Take the heart and run. My spray can absorb or break down the corpse. Even if I sneak into the president's residence, I wouldn't be able to take it with me. That's why this has to be you, and it has to be now, before your identity is exposed." At that very moment, Lucy has already taken on the appearance of the First Lady and stands before the president's bed. But the president looks at her with suspicion. He orders her to stop immediately because the First Lady, Scarlett, has never entered his bedroom, and the fact that she says nothing only deepens his suspicion. Just then, the balloon dogs Mike O left behind in the room begin crawling out from the shadows. They let out low, growling sounds, sniffing the air as they slowly approach Lucy. Lucy's heart pounds in her throat. What are these things? Is this the president's stand? Every word she says now could expose her. Does the First Lady know about stands? Does she know the president has been investigating a traitor in Kansas City? If she does, there's no way she would have brought an outsider into the residence. Just as that thought crosses her mind, the president speaks again. "What do you want? Why come into my bedroom? Only to stand there in silence?" Lucy quickly responds, "What are those things? I'm scared." That finally puts him at ease. He lies back down. "Oh, so you're afraid? That makes sense you wouldn't know. They're the most advanced security measures. Someone infiltrated us before, and these balloon dogs are here to protect me. They've already memorized the intruder's scent." Scent? Lucy freezes inside. She may be carrying Scarlett's scent, but her own is still there too. If they can recognize my scent, then I'm done. Lucy disguises herself as the First Lady, planning to steal the Saint's corpse, while the president is asleep. But she doesn't expect him to wake up early. Worse, his room is filled with dangerous balloon dogs. At any moment, they could catch her, just by picking up her scent. As the dogs close in, Lucy darts forward and leaps onto the bed. She presses her finger right up to the president's lips. Startled, he freezes, but Lucy imitates Scarlett's earlier tone and says, "I came here to play with your lips." What he doesn't know is, her fingernail is already coated. with a powerful sedative. The moment it takes effect, he'll fall unconscious for at least 2 minutes, and that window is all she needs to steal the corpse. Sure enough, the instant her finger touches his lips, his eyes slowly close. He falls asleep. Lucy moves quickly, sticking to the plan. She pulls open his shirt. From inside his body, the saint's heart begins to pull free, drawn out by the attraction of the eye. It worked. All she has to do now is take the heart and get out of there, and it'll all be over. But before she can celebrate, a sharp pain shoots through her foot. One of the balloon dogs attacks. It pierces straight through her ankle, burrowing into her flesh. This 14-year-old girl climbs into the president's bed, all to steal the saint's heart. But just as she's about to succeed, a sharp pain shoots through her foot. The balloon dogs deployed by Mike O, the president's subordinate, have already launched their attack. It pierces straight through her ankle, burrowing into her flesh. Lucy breaks into a cold sweat, but she doesn't dare make a sound. All she can do is let it crawl deeper into her leg. She tries to yank it out, but it only digs in further. Struggling, she glances back at the president and freezes. Something's wrong. On his body, multiple corpse parts begin to appear, not just the heart. The saint's ears and right arm manifest as well. Johnny, Gyro, even Hot Pants. They all said the president only had the heart, so why are there 3 now? Then what should I take? Just the heart? No. If there are 3, then I have to take all of them. Otherwise, his power won't disappear. She has to get rid of these balloon dogs fast. As Lucy keeps pulling at the one lodged in her leg, it suddenly deflates, turning back into a copper nail. At the same time, 2 more dogs close in. Lucy flips off the bed, grabbing a standing mirror as a shield, holding it in front of her. And then, the door behind her swings open. The real Scarlet steps into the room. The sedative only lasts 2 minutes. When she wakes and finds Lucy gone, she follows the sound and ends up here, seeing someone with the exact same face as her own. Scarlet freezes. Lucy freezes too, not knowing what to do. At the same time, the one controlling these balloon dogs, Mike O, is rushing toward the room, drawn by the activation of his ability. Lucy is completely cornered. A 14-year-old girl with no stand ability sneaks alone into the enemy's stronghold to steal the saint's corpse, and somehow she actually pulls it off. But before she can get away, the balloon dogs Mike O planted in the room are already attacking her, and that's not all. The First Lady bursts into the room at that exact moment. How is Lucy supposed to escape this? One glance at her clothes, and the First Lady immediately recognizes her. Lucy, what happened to your face? What are you doing in my husband's room? Caught in a situation like this, Lucy can't think of a single answer. The balloon dogs keep closing in. Everything is falling apart. She never meant to oppose the president or this country. All she ever wanted was to get out of this mess and return to a quiet, normal life. When Lucy says nothing, the First Lady pulls out her gun. Lucy, are you all right? Look at those terrified eyes of yours. Pathetic. You little stray cat. I'm gonna shoot that face of yours to pieces. The gun fires. The bullet tears straight through Lucy's left hand. She collapses, clutching the wound, crying out in pain. You're a stand user, aren't you? You used me to sneak into the mansion on purpose, didn't you? I actually liked you. I was ready to take care of you from now on. And this is how you repay me? I'm going to kill you. She fires again and again, but this time, every shot misses, only grazing Lucy. In that split second, Lucy lunges forward, takes another shot to the leg, and crashes into the First Lady, sending both of them crashing into the bathroom. The gun slips from her hand and hits the floor. The balloon dogs rush after them. Lucy slams the door shut, locking them outside. But those things, a door won't stop them. Their bodies start to compress. A small hand pushes through the gap, and within seconds, they twist the handle and force their way in. The First Lady struggles back to her feet, then suddenly lunges, wrapping an arm around Lucy's neck from behind. I'll make you regret ever lying to me. I'm not letting them execute you cleanly. I'll tear you apart myself. Then she grabs the copper nail, embedded in Lucy's leg. Let's start with these pretty legs of yours. I'll feed them to the balloon dogs, piece by piece. At the same time, the president's 2-minute drug effect wears off. His eyes slowly open. The gunshots have already alerted the guards. They're flooding into the mansion from every direction. Is this the end for Lucy? Lucy's plan to steal the saint's corpse has completely fallen apart, and now her life is hanging by a thread. At the last second, Lucy rips off her face mask and slaps it onto Scarlet's face. Along with it, her scent as the intruder. The balloon dogs about to bite her suddenly turn and charge at Scarlet instead. They shrink, slip through her eyes, and burrow straight into her brain. With a sharp crack, they explode, turning into 3 copper nails that tear her head apart. Lucy breaks down in tears. If she doesn't doesn't kill, she'll be the one who dies. She has no choice. The president wakes up. Guards rush into the room. Seeing the gun and the blood on the floor, they immediately surround the bathroom. Outside, Maiko crouches by the window, trying to look in, but the glare makes it hard to see inside. When he finally opens it, all he sees are a few copper nails, a pool of blood, and hot pants emerging from the drain, her body reforming from a mass of flesh. After killing Scarlet, Lucy moves fast, stuffing all 3 corpse parts into her bag. The mission is complete. Only then does the president realize the Saint's corpse is no longer inside him. The intruder is in the bathroom. The guards are ready to move. Inside, Hot Pants and Maiko face each other through the window. At this point, he's the only one who's seen their faces. If they want to keep this secret, they have to kill him before escaping. Maiko leans on the window and starts blowing air, not just copper. Any metal can be turned into his weapon. The screws and the mesh on the window all become floating balloons. They drift toward Hot Pants. Lucy warns her, don't touch them. The moment they make contact, they'll enter the body and explode inside, turning into copper nails. Hot Pants scoffs. That's it? My stand attacks the user directly. I don't need to touch any of this. She extends her arm, soft and flexible, slipping through every balloon. Her arm smashes through the window and aims the flesh spray straight at Maiko's face. Just as she's about to fire, a shutter drops from above. Her hand, still gripping the spray gun, is severed instantly. The president would never have imagined. All it took was a nap, and the Saint's corpse inside him was stolen. Lucy, who pulled it off, is now hiding in the president's bathroom with Hot Pants. Aside from the already dead First Lady, the only person who's seen them is Maiko. If they take him out, they can walk away clean. But the moment Hot Pants makes her move, she falls straight into Maiko's trap. Her left hand is severed on the spot. The spray she used to attack is completely smashed. Long before the window was even opened, Maiko had already turned the blinds outside into balloon birds. The entire exterior was already filled with his stand weapons. Seeing Hot Pants collapse in pain, Maiko starts mocking her immediately. My tubular bells, both a shield that protects and the blade that executes. You don't stand a chance. With that, he commands all the metal balloons at once, sending them flying straight at Hot Pants. Seeing her badly injured, Lucy panics. Hot Pants tells her, hide, don't move. Maiko freezes for a split second. Wait, there's someone else? Another one behind that wall? Just as Hot Pants tries to get back up, the balloon birds in the air suddenly burst apart, reverting back into blinds. Her right hand is severed instantly. That's it. It's over. Both hands gone. The blinds slash across again. Hot Pants drops flat to dodge. The force of the strike cuts more than 3 feet deep into the wall. As the wall collapses, Lucy is exposed behind it, along with the corpse hidden beside her. Cold sweat floods Maiko's face. Lucy Steele, what are you doing here? And that body, that's the First Lady. As a guard, the First Lady was killed right under his watch. Panic sets in. He grabs a handful of nails and charges into the room. Hot Pants, you won't be interrogated. I'm executing you right now. Outside the door, the president's other guards are already armed, ready to break in at any moment. They're trapped, no way out. This time, Maiko puts every copper nail to his mouth, takes a deep breath, and blows. But the nails don't inflate. Instead, his own head swells up like a balloon. Hot Pants' earlier attack had already worked. He just let out a breath, and his head inflated like a balloon. What the hell just happened? Moments earlier, after seeing the First Lady killed, the president's personal guard, Maiko, froze his face, contorted with rage. Without hesitation, he rushed into the bathroom, ready to execute Hot Pants on the spot. He pulled out every last copper nail and blew with all his strength. But instead of the nails inflating, his own head swelled up first. Mike refused to believe it. He gathered his breath again and blew harder. This time, his entire neck ballooned grotesquely. Seeing this, Hot Pants said coldly, "Give it up. Stop struggling. From here on out, all you can do is wait for death." The truth was, the moment Maiko severed Hot Pants' left hand, he had already been hit. That spray of blood from the wound was actually her stand ability, meat spray. The instant her hand was cut off, fragments of her left arm had infiltrated Maiko's flesh and were already in his throat and lungs. At this point, Hot Pants gave him one final warning. Stop trying. Just die peacefully. There's no need to go out like this. But Maiko refused. He forced out a third breath, pushing himself past the limit. And finally, his lungs gave out. They burst. The guards outside stormed in all at once, but all they saw was Maiko collapsed in a pool of blood. The metal mesh and blinds he had inflated like balloons had all returned to normal, scattered across the floor, and the First Lady was now curled up in the corner, trembling. The guards rushed over, checking her condition, asking what had happened. But this First Lady was actually Lucy. The real First Lady had already been reduced to flesh fragments by Hot Pants' stand and forced into the sewers. Just before the guards broke in, Hot Pants had used her flesh spray again to change Lucy's face. Escaping with Lucy intact was too risky. If she broke Lucy into pieces and sent her through the drain, there was no guarantee she could put her back together afterward. That would mean Lucy's death. So disguising her as the First Lady was the only way to keep her alive. As for the Saint's corpse, Hot Pants only took the ears and the heart. The arm was too large. She couldn't drag it into the sewer. Before leaving, she told Lucy, "Put all the blame on me." Not very tall, under 51 kilograms, able to ride over 100 kilometers through storms in a single day. Every condition the president had been tracking, Hot Pants matched them all. This way, Lucy and her husband could avoid suspicion. Still shaken, Lucy suddenly found the president standing right in front of her. Facing his questions, she repeated everything Hot Pants had told her to say. After hearing it, the president picked up the right arm and turned away, leaving behind this First Lady alone on the floor. If she wanted to live, if she wanted her husband to live, Lucy had no choice but to keep playing this role, to remain the First Lady until the corpse was complete, until the steel ball run came to an end. This man, at his waist, he carries a pair of spinning steel balls, just like gyros, and where he stands now is the very straight every racer in the steel ball run must pass through. Who is he, and why is he here in this frozen wasteland? His name is Weka Pipo. He was once a member of the Royal Guard of the Kingdom of Naples. His only family was his much younger sister. She had never seen the ocean. Her dream, ever since she was a child, was to see it just once. When she turned 17, Weka Pipo found her a husband, the son of the kingdom's Minister of Finance. Powerful, wealthy, a perfect match. As she married into that family, she finally saw the ocean for the first time. But Weka Pipo had no idea this decision would destroy his life completely. One day, Weka Pipo went to visit her. The moment he stepped inside, he saw her, crouched alone in the corner, crying. He rushed over and pulled her to her feet, and the second he saw her face, his heart shattered. She had been beaten beyond recognition. Damn it, where is that bastard? I'll kill him. But as he tried to stand up for her, his sister broke down, begging him, "Please, don't go after my husband." She said it was all her fault, that she had made him angry, that she deserved what happened. As she spoke, her left hand accidentally knocked over a vase. Only when it shattered did she seem to realize her left eye was already blind. Weka Pipo rushed to check her injury, but she was still defending that man, saying the blindness was only temporary, that it would get better soon. Weka Pipo couldn't hold it in anymore. He broke down in tears. The person closest to him in the world had been treated like an animal. This couldn't end like this. After that, Weka Pipo used his connections to reach the church's high priest. He begged him to annul his sister's marriage. He was the one who arranged it. He would take responsibility. The marriage was declared invalid. His former brother-in-law was humiliated and took all of his anger out on Weka Pipo. No matter how he was beaten or cursed at, Weka Pipo never fought back. He chose to bear all of it alone. Seeing how easy he was to bully, that man only went further, calling his sister a worthless woman, saying the only way he could feel any pleasure was to beat her while she clapped for him. Weka Pipo trembled with rage, but he said nothing. Then, the man pressed the tip of a sword against his back. Weka Pipo, you said you'd take responsibility, didn't you? Then stake your life on it. Duel me at dawn tomorrow, northwest corner of the city wall. Don't be late. With that, the bastard turned and walked away. A duel? That was exactly what Weka Pipo wanted. At last, he had a chance to kill that man, fair and square. Why did Weka Pipo come to America? And why was he waiting? Right on the path of stage 6 of the steel ball run, it all goes back to one person, his sister, his only family. But that only family was being abused by her own husband. And now, that piece of trash had the nerve to challenge him to a duel. It was exactly what Weka Pipo wanted. At last, he had a legal way to kill him. Early the next morning, Weka Pipo strapped on his sword and prepared to leave. His sister broke down in tears, begging him to give up the duel. Weka Pipo only said one thing, "Don't worry, I'll be back soon. You're still young. You can remarry. You'll find happiness." And with that, he walked out the door without looking back. At the training grounds, his scumbag brother-in-law was already waiting. Beside him stood a group of men in cloaks. According to him, they were witnesses for the duel. No more words were needed. The fight began. So would they be using swords? No. Both of them threw their blades aside and reached for the steel balls at their waists. The spin, passed down through generations, was their true weapon. They moved at the same time. The steel balls collided mid-air, spinning against each other with violent force. With a sharp burst of friction, both balls were knocked away, flying straight toward each other's heads. The brother-in-law's throw was slightly off, just grazing Weka Pipo's scalp, but Weka Pipo's was perfect. It drove straight into his opponent's eye socket, blowing through his skull on impact. Blood erupted like a fountain. The duel was over. The winner, Huecapipo. Then the witnesses stepped forward. "We've just seen an impressive duel," one of them said. "But Huecapipo, you lost from the very beginning." Before he could react, the man struck him with a steel ball. Huecapipo stared in disbelief. This was a formal duel. Even the Pope himself approved my request. "What are you doing? I broke no law." The man replied coldly, "You picked a fight with the wrong people. Your brother-in-law's father is a high-ranking official. The gap between your status is too great. The law doesn't apply here." Only then did Huecapipo see the man's face clearly. It was Gyro's father, the royal executioner, Zeppeli. Facing Huecapipo's unjust fate, even Zeppeli couldn't bring himself to strike. Instead of killing him, he ordered Huecapipo to flee the country immediately and never set foot in Naples again. "Exile me?" Huecapipo refused to accept it. He wanted to appeal to the Pope, but those in power would never give him that chance. Cursing them as nothing but lackeys, Huecapipo left with his sister for America. Years later, his sister died of illness. With nothing left to hold on to, he was completely alone. And that was when the President of the United States noticed his talent, took him under his wing, and sent him to the 6th stage of the Steel Ball Run to secure the corpse and eliminate Gyro and Johnny. As long as he kills Gyro and Johnny, finds and takes the Saint's corpse from the 6th stage, Huecapipo will earn a U.S. green card, transforming from a fugitive in Naples into an American citizen. In the freezing cold of -35 degrees, Huecapipo teams up with Magent Magent, another agent serving the president. They wait along the only route Johnny and Gyro can take, quietly lying in ambush. To kill time, Magent Magent tries to make small talk, but Huecapipo isn't interested. He just wants to finish the mission and finally live a peaceful life. Still, he warns Magent Magent, don't underestimate Johnny and Gyro, especially Gyro. The Zeppeli family's steel balls hide more secrets than they appear to. But I know one thing, Huecapipo says, I'll deal with them from a position above their level. Magent Magent nods. I get it. Your technique surpasses the Zeppeli family. Huecapipo shakes his head. That's not it either. Have respect for the Zeppelis' steel balls. That's the key. And as long as we hold on to it, we won't lose. Meanwhile, Johnny and Gyro arrive at the shore of Lake Michigan. They hesitate over their next move. After calculating, Gyro estimates the ice is about 43 centimeters thick, but whether it can support their horses, that's still uncertain. If the ice breaks and they fall in, they'll freeze to death. Taking the ferry would be safer, but it would add another 12 kilometers to their route. Then suddenly, Johnny says, "Look, it's trailing us again." Following his gaze, they spot a wolf cub. Gyro immediately complains. "See, I told you not to feed it. Now it's following us. It's definitely after our horses." Johnny quickly shakes his head. "No, I'm not talking about the cub. Look closer. There's someone behind it." And sure enough, 3 horses appear in the distance. At the front, it's Pocoloco. Ever since Sandman was taken out, Pocoloco has become Gyro's biggest obstacle to winning. Dio is too far behind to matter, and Hot Pants isn't even aiming for the championship. But if Pocoloco takes another stage win, it'll be almost impossible for Gyro to catch up. Right then, Pocoloco and the 2 riders behind him charge straight toward the center of the lake, planning to cross the frozen surface. Johnny checks the corpse's location. Again, the legs should be somewhere beneath the ice, near the finish line. Gyro is caught in a dilemma. If he follows Johnny to retrieve the corpse, he could lose the stage again, and with it, any chance of saving the boy. But if he chases victory instead, while he hesitates, Pocoloco is already riding out onto the ice. Gyro frowns. He's too confident. Could it be he's found a safe route used by the locals? Gyro once heard that before the lake fully freezes, locals embed wooden markers into the ice to reinforce it, but no one knows if that information is reliable. Even just now, Gyro had been searching beneath the surface, trying to spot any wood frozen inside, but there's no time left. Even if it risks his life, Gyro makes his decision. He'll cross Lake Michigan directly over the ice, outrun Pocoloco, and take the lead. No more hesitation. They spur their horses forward and charge onto the lake. With every step, cracks echo beneath the hooves, and then 2 more riders appear behind Pocoloco. Johnny and Gyro can't make out who they are at first. They don't seem to be racers. Only when they get closer does Gyro finally see the face of the man in front. Why does he look so familiar? Then it hits him. That's a royal guard from back home, Huecapipo. Gyro had traveled all the way to America for the race and never expected to run into someone from his homeland here. What's that guy doing here? Before Gyro could even process what was happening, something came flying in from the distance. Straight at them, he focused his eyes. It was a ball ball, a steel ball. Gyro reacted instantly, meeting it with his own spinning steel ball, stopping the attack mid-air. The two steel balls spun at high speed, locked in place between them. Gyro shouted for Johnny to get down, and the moment he finished speaking, both steel balls shot off again, each one targeting a different direction. Johnny and Gyro flipped off their horses, barely dodging the attack, attacking before even showing themselves, so they're enemies, no doubt about it. But we haven't even found the corpse yet. Why does the president already want us dead? No point thinking about that now. If they're enemies, then we fight. Johnny tried to get up, but suddenly, something felt wrong. The left half of his body was gone. He looked at Gyro and saw the same thing. Gyro's head, his entire body, only half of it remained. Johnny froze on the spot. What the hell is going on? Gyro, however, stayed calm. Relax. It's nothing serious. Nothing serious? It's just a trick. His ability. That man, Weka Pipo, he used to be a royal guard back in our homeland. This technique is called left half ataxia. If we'd taken a direct hit from those steel balls, we'd be dead already. What we're experiencing now is just the aftershock. Unlike the Zeppeli family's technique, Weka Pipo uses something called the wrecking ball, a pure combat style developed to protect royalty. Once it hits, your sense of your own left side is disrupted. Everything on your left feels like it's gone, but physically, your body hasn't been damaged. Johnny frowned. You're saying my left side is still there? Then why can't I feel it? Gyro continued. Because your perception is off. Your brain is sending the wrong signals. It makes you think your left side doesn't exist. Even if you touch it, your brain won't process the sensation. Give it a few seconds. It'll wear off. But the real problem was, it wasn't just their bodies. Everything they saw, the mountains, the ground, had no left side anymore, which meant as long as the enemy stayed on their left, the enemy would be completely invisible. And at that very moment, the other enemy had already disappeared. Before entering the steel ball run, Gyro once treated a young girl who had lost her sight. She had fallen down the stairs and fractured her left shoulder. After easing her pain with the spin, Gyro used its ripples to examine her condition and saw what was happening inside her skull. One of her optic nerves had been severed by external trauma. That was the true cause of her blindness. That's when Gyro remembered. She had already come to their clinic a few days ago. He and his father had treated her together, but now his father was away and wouldn't be back for at least 3 days. So this time, Gyro had to take the lead. During the previous treatment, his father had said, if she survives, that's already enough. Be grateful for that. Don't cross into matters that aren't your responsibility. Gyro couldn't understand it. Why not fix her eyesight while they were at it? Severed nerves weren't easy to treat, but with the Zeppeli family spin, reconnecting them wasn't impossible. At that moment, his mother, assisting nearby, suddenly spoke up. Gyro, listen carefully. Her eyesight is none of our concern. She came here for her injury. Just treat the wound. That's all. Gyro wanted to ask for the family's consent, only to realize she had no one with her. Her only relative was her older brother, a royal guard. But not long ago, he had died in a duel over her divorce case. That brother was Weka Pipo, the man Gyro's father had once spared. Realizing she had no one left, Gyro ignored his mother's warning and picked up the steel ball. Using the golden ratio in the leaves outside the window, he executed a perfect golden spin. When a tennis ball clips the net and bounces up, which side will it fall on? If we do nothing, she'll remain trapped in darkness forever. And that ball will never fall to either side. But just as he made his move, a sterilizer beside him suddenly released a burst of steam. The distraction made his hand tremble just slightly. The surgery was over. Gyro struck a match to test her vision. She was still completely blind. His attempt had failed. Frustrated, he slammed his fist against the boiler. The operation wasn't easy, but it wasn't beyond him either. If not for that sudden burst of steam, he could have performed a perfect golden spin and restored her sight. But now, her optic nerve had been damaged a second time. There was no saving it anymore. This was all his fault. Hearing his self-blame, the girl gently tried to comfort him. Doctor, I don't know why you're upset. I lost my sight a long time ago. Thank you for treating my injuries. Those words only made it worse. Regret hit him even harder. If his father had performed the surgery, this never would have happened. And at that moment, his father stepped into the room. Gyro never crossed the line that exists within a person's heart. That is the duty of the Zeppeli family. No one can know which side a ball will fall to after it hits the net. The steel balls Gyro uses actually come in several different types. Unlike the spin balls used by the Zeppeli family, the technique Weka Pipo uses is called the wrecking ball. A direct hit is instantly fatal. Even getting clipped clipped by its after effects, makes you lose all perception of the left side. To Johnny and Gyro, the entire world suddenly lost its left half, and taking advantage of that weakness, the enemy's partner quickly closed in on them. Gyro immediately shouts to Johnny, telling him to ignore the left side and search from the right instead. As long as the right side of his vision still works, he just has to keep turning right. Eventually, after a full rotation, he'll spot where the enemy is. Johnny keeps turning, and sure enough, the sled the enemy rode in on is parked just a short distance away, but the seat is already empty. One more turn, and Johnny finally catches sight of the enemy. The double-barreled shotgun is already pressed against Gyro's head. Johnny instantly fires several nail bullets. At the exact same moment, the enemy pulls the trigger. Thanks to Johnny's interference, the shot misses its target and slams into the rocks instead, but every single nail bullet hits the enemy directly. The moment he's struck, the man throws away the shotgun and presses both hands against the ground. The spinning nail bullets that should have torn through his body instead flow through his arms and into the earth beneath him. At the same time, the distortion affecting their left side finally disappears. That shot that looked like it missed had actually hit Gyro's left arm perfectly. Before the enemy can make another move, Gyro grabs a steel ball and throws it. At this distance, one hit from the spin should be enough to crush the enemy's skull, but to their shock, the power of the steel ball is transferred into the ice through his hands once again. His body takes almost no damage at all. Johnny fires more nail bullets, but just like before, all of the force gets redirected somewhere else. And at that moment, Weka Pipo begins walking toward them, steel ball in hand. Looks like he's about to use the wrecking ball again. If Johnny and Gyro get hit a second time and fall back into that left side distortion, then the enemy crouching on the ice will definitely get back up and launch another ambush. Johnny immediately stuffs the herb that accelerates nail growth into his mouth. In a few more seconds, he'll be able to unleash another round of golden spin nail bullets. But what confuses the two of them most right now is why the president's assassins would attack at a time like this. They already know we don't have the corpse anymore, and the saint's legs still haven't been found yet, unless the enemy already knows where the next corpse part is hidden. Why would the president send assassins after Johnny and Gyro at a time like this? He already knew they no longer had the corpse, and the saint's legs still hadn't been found, unless the president had already figured out where the next corpse part was hidden. Back during the previous stage, Johnny had accidentally projected the map onto the snow, and when the sole surviving member of the 11 men took the corpse from Johnny's hands, he happened to witness the whole thing. The map was rough, but the outline was still recognizable. It showed the Strait of Mackinac with the silhouette of a wolf-like creature in the center. After hearing that report, the president specifically warned Weka Pipo the saint's corpse wouldn't necessarily stay buried underground. It could merge with living creatures, or even with sand and stone, constantly changing locations as it moved. That's why they had to keep Johnny under close watch, because the corpse would always choose stand users on its own. And after seeing the wolf cub that had followed them all the way here, Weka Pipo finally pieced everything together. The little thing wasn't following Johnny to eat his horse. That wolf was the saint's corpse itself. At the same time, Johnny's fingernails had finally grown back, thanks to the effects of the herbs. During the fight against Magent earlier, Johnny actually could have hit him before his hands touched the ground, but the golden spin still lacked precision, and the nail bullets were slightly slower than usual. Normally, Johnny would use tree branches or the wings of birds as references for the golden rectangle, but out here on the endless frozen plains, he couldn't find a single object that carried that shape anymore. Before Johnny could finish speaking, Weka Pipo attacked again, and this time, he launched both steel balls at once. Gyro fired back with his own steel balls, but the moment they collided, his attack was instantly overwhelmed, and the steel balls dropped onto the ice. Johnny wasn't the only one who could no longer use the golden spin. Even Gyro couldn't perform it anymore. Weka Pipo had chosen this battlefield on purpose because he already knew the key condition required for the golden spin. Out here on the frozen surface of Lake Michigan, they no longer had any usable golden rectangles. Gyro had already failed. Now, before the wrecking balls could reach them, Johnny had to shoot them down with his nail bullets. Johnny immediately fired his nail bullets, striking both steel balls with ease. Under the impact of the nail bullets, the small steel pellets embedded in the balls were blasted loose, one after another. Seeing both of them fully focused on Weka Pipo, Magent, crouching nearby, quietly picked up his shotgun again. But this time, the target in his sights wasn't Johnny. It was the wolf cub following behind him. Just how bizarre can the ways of hiding the saint's corpse corpse be? Some were buried deep underground, some were sealed beneath shifting sands, some were even hidden inside folktales. And now, this piece of the saint's corpse was hidden inside an animal. Based on the information brought back by the 11 men, Wekapipo and Majin concluded that the saint's legs were hidden inside the wolf cub. In the middle of the fight, Majin seized the opening and dropped the cub with a single shot. Johnny couldn't understand why the enemy suddenly turned their guns on a wild wolf. But before he could think about that, he had a more urgent problem to deal with. The steel balls flying straight at him. As the two steel balls came crashing in, Johnny instantly fired off a volley of nail bullets. Amid the sharp clang of metal, one of the steel balls was knocked away. But the other one, Gyro had no choice but to block it with his bare hand. He protected his vitals, but the steel ball tore his palm apart. After dealing with the wolf, Majin started walking toward them with his gun in hand. At that moment, Johnny had already used up every last nail bullet. He was now nothing more than an unarmed cripple, and it got even worse. Looking across the battlefield, not a single golden rectangle could be found anymore. They no longer had any reference points left for the golden spin. Even Gyro's hands, perfected for the golden ratio, were now badly injured and misshapen. Wekapipo was stripping away their reference points one by one, and the previous attack had once again triggered the effects of left side ataxia. The left side of their bodies, and even their vision, began disappearing again. For the enemy, the wolf had already been killed. Now, even if they killed Johnny, they no longer had to worry about the corpse escaping. Majin and Wekapipo were fully prepared to finish them off. As the effects of left side ataxia spread, Majin's figure gradually vanished from their sight. At the same time, Wekapipo threw another steel ball. Johnny and Gyro were now trapped between attacks from both sides. Majin was only a few steps away. There wasn't enough time to use their old method, turning right in a full circle to counterattack. The steel ball Gyro held in his left hand vanished along with that side of his body. The one remaining in his right hand had become their final weapon. Seeing the panic on their faces, Majin immediately aimed his gun at Gyro. As for Johnny, the cripple was no longer a threat. Kill Gyro, and the battle would be over. But Johnny and Gyro refused to wait for death. Even if they couldn't see the enemy, the traces left behind in the snow were still there. Gyro decided to use those marks to estimate the enemy's position and fire blindly. Majin cocked the hammer of his revolver. At the very same moment, Gyro's steel ball shot from his hand like lightning. Majin was stunned, no vision, and he still attacked. And right then, Wekapipo's steel ball came flying toward them as well. Gyro grabbed Johnny and dragged him to the ground. They barely avoided the attack. But did Gyro's blind shot actually hit the enemy? The enemy launched their attack from the left, and both Gyro and Johnny had already lost all vision on that side. How were they supposed to stop it? Using the battle marks left on the ground, Gyro predicted their position and threw his final steel ball. A scream rang out. The steel ball grazed past Majin's shoulder. Even though it wasn't a direct hit, the impact still did serious damage. Hearing Majin scream again and again, Wekapipo snapped at him. "Quit screaming. You're already lucky enough. If that had been the golden spin, your whole arm would be gone." Clutching his wound, Majin raised his gun and fired wildly. One of the shots hit Gyro in the ribs. Johnny and Gyro rolled through the snow, barely avoiding the shots that followed. Gyro's left-hand steel ball had fallen somewhere nearby earlier. As Johnny kept retreating, he reached around in the snow trying to find it. If they didn't recover that steel ball, they'd be completely defenseless. But Gyro suddenly grabbed Johnny and told him to stop looking. The left side of their bodies had already been affected. Even if they touched the steel ball, they wouldn't be able to feel it, and there was no need to search for it anyway, because Gyro had already picked up the third steel ball. Seeing the two of them unarmed, Majin started walking toward them with his gun raised. The moment Wekapipo saw that, he immediately shouted a warning. Gyro wasn't just an executioner, he was also an excellent doctor. There was a good chance he had taken that hit intentionally, looking to weaponize the slug. Just like Wekapipo predicted, Gyro had already dug the bullet out of his wound, but now that the trick had been exposed, he had no choice but to act immediately. He flicked the spinning bullet straight toward Majin's head. But with Wekapipo's warning, Majin had already summoned his stand and prepared himself. The moment his hand touched the ice, the bullet's trajectory was deflected and sent flying into the sky. This time, Gyro had truly lost his last steel ball. At that moment, the effect disrupting their left side finally wore off. The two of them finally spotted the steel ball they had dropped earlier, but by now, it had already rolled right in front of Majin. "You want it? Then come pick it up." Facing the enemy's gun, Gyro suddenly asked, "The wolf you shot earlier? Was it because the saint's corpse was inside its body?" In the distance, Wekapipo was already hurrying over. Just shoot them already. Why are you standing there talking to them? Certain that victory was already his, Majin answered Gyro's question without hesitation. Yeah, just like you said. Before he could finish the sentence, a bullet came crashing down from above and pierced straight through his skull. Gyro had been waiting all along for the bullet that had been knocked into the sky to fall back down under the power of the spin. Which is stronger, Gyro's steel balls or Weka Pipo's wrecking balls? Today, the two finally settle it. After Gyro landed a clean headshot on Majin, he finally got both of his steel balls back. At the same time, Johnny's fingernails had fully regenerated. Now the final round was about to begin. From the fight earlier, Johnny and Gyro had already seen how dangerous Weka Pipo really was. Without the golden spin, even the two of them together might not stand a chance. Right now, their top priority was finding a proper rectangular ratio somewhere in this frozen wasteland. After thinking it through, Gyro realized the only thing that fit the conditions was that wolf carcass, and there was a good chance the Saint's corpse was hidden inside it. If so, the corpse's feet would definitely match the golden ratio too. Before Weka Pipo could close the distance, Gyro sprinted straight toward the wolf's body. At that exact moment, Weka Pipo launched a wrecking ball. While charging forward, Gyro fired back with his own steel ball. But this time, the two balls didn't collide mid-air. They passed right by each other, flying straight for their targets instead. Without the golden spin, even hitting the enemy's ball wouldn't stop it. Gyro never planned to defend in the first place. That steel ball was meant to kill. That left the defense entirely to Johnny. As the wrecking ball closed in, Johnny fired all 10 nails at once, forcing it out of the air. But he only had 10 shots. Even after the barrage ended, the scattered steel pellets still struck him, and the steel ball that got knocked away crashed down beside Gyro, shattering the ice beneath his feet. Meanwhile, on Weka Pipo's side, Gyro's steel ball was already right in front of him. There was no time to dodge. The steel ball slammed directly into his shoulder. It worked! Weka Pipo coughed up blood as his body began to twist, but the moment Gyro saw it, he immediately realized something was wrong. That spin, Weka Pipo released it himself, and sure enough, after spinning for a few seconds, the steel ball slipped off his body and dropped to the ground. Right before the hit landed, Weka Pipo had twisted his own body with spin, hardening his muscles and skin to withstand the attack. Gyro had used the exact same technique before. It was a spin technique passed down through the Zeppeli family, and somehow, Weka Pipo could use it too? The Zeppeli family's spin technique had actually been copied by the enemy. Just moments ago, Gyro finally landed a hit on Weka Pipo, but unexpectedly, Weka Pipo used the spin himself, hardening the surface of his body to tank the attack head-on. At this point, there's only one way left for Gyro to beat him: the golden spin, and Weka Pipo knows that too. The only golden rectangles left on the battlefield are the wolf's corpse and the Saint's corpse. The moment he saw Gyro run toward them, Weka Pipo immediately threw out his second steel ball. Gyro blocked it with his own. The two steel balls collided mid-air, letting out a harsh metallic screech, and using that impact, the smaller steel pellets attached to Weka Pipo's ball were launched away from the main ball, flying off to the side, straight toward the corpse. So the wolf cub and the Saint's corpse had been his real targets all along. As the ice shattered, the corpse sank straight into the lake. This time, Gyro had lost every last golden rectangle. There was no way for him to use the golden spin anymore. With a flick of his right hand, Weka Pipo recalled the two steel balls he had thrown earlier. The next attack was already coming. Gyro quickly pulled back his own steel ball, preparing himself for the next clash. But the moment it returned to his hand, the left side of his body started disappearing again. How was that possible? He clearly blocked Weka Pipo's attack earlier, so why was the left side ataxia still affecting him? Could even the small scratches from the steel pellets in the first attack trigger the effect? That alone had already stripped away half of Gyro's fighting ability, and now, while already at a disadvantage, he had to face Weka Pipo's two wrecking balls with only a single steel ball of his own. Weka Pipo let out a cold laugh, then said, "It seems that I am one step ahead of you." The enemy was about to strike again. Gyro hurriedly scanned his surroundings, desperately searching for another golden rectangle. But everywhere he looked, every golden rectangle reference had already been destroyed. The moment Weka Pipo attacked again, Gyro would die. All this way, Gyro had always believed that as long as he stayed on the right path, it would eventually lead him to the light. Every time he faced death, he managed to discover that hidden light, the one pointing him toward victory. But now, no matter where he looks, he can't see a thing. There is no light here. God damn it! Is this where my journey ends? Am I really going to die in this frozen wasteland? Still 1,500 kilometers away from the finish line. Everything's only halfway finished. I haven't settled anything yet. I haven't done anything yet. Now, Gyro had been pushed into a complete dead end. He couldn't use the golden spin. Only one steel ball remained, and the enemy's killing blow was already right in front of him. What now? Just wait to die? Then Gyro suddenly remembered something his father once told him. The human body and spirit both have their limits, and execution and medicine are things that go against those limits. The Zeppeli family must never play God by changing those limits through our own will. We are the ball that has hit the net, but we still believe in miracles. All we can do is pray for one to happen. Pray that the ball falls onto the other side of the net. At that moment, a few snowflakes suddenly drifted past Gyro's face. Snow? At a time like this, the wrecking ball was already closing in. Without hesitation, Gyro hurled his last remaining steel ball. The instant the two collided, Wekapipo's ball shattered apart. Carrying the remaining force, Gyro's steel ball slammed into the second wrecking ball as well. The violent spin and friction sent sparks bursting into the air. More snowflakes slowly drifted down above them. Why was it suddenly snowing? Under a perfectly clear sky, Johnny looked closer. The snow wasn't coming from the sky at all. Wekapipo's previous attack had shattered the ice, sending mist into the air. The freezing temperature turned it into tiny ice crystals, creating those sparkling snowflakes. And those accidental ice crystals had formed perfect golden rectangles. Using them as his guide, Gyro delivered that perfect strike. At that very moment, Wekapipo's second steel ball exploded apart as well. The golden spin flashed past in an instant, piercing straight through his body. As the effects of left-side ataxia slowly faded, Gyro's left arm, along with the other steel ball in his hand, gradually returned to sight. Wekapipo was stunned. After thinking for a long time, he finally realized it. The snow from earlier was something he himself had created for Gyro. Johnny was just as stunned. Earlier, even he himself hadn't noticed. The map projected onto the ground. It was because the enemy saw that map that Wekapipo and Magent learned. The saint's corpse was hidden inside the wolf. That was why they shot the wolf ahead of time, leaving it in that exact spot. And in the end, everything led to this result. This must be what people call a miracle. Do you believe in miracles? Back in the previous stage, Johnny accidentally projected the map onto the snow, and that single moment set off a chain of events that ended with Gyro winning the fight. Looking at the heavily wounded Wekapipo, even Gyro couldn't help but say, "You should have been the winner. Every move you made kept pushing me closer and closer into a corner." That final comeback was pure luck. Wekapipo coughed up blood. Don't say that. Results are all that matter. Heaven chose you, Gyro Zeppeli. Even the snowfall was destined from the start. That wasn't coincidence. It was a miracle, chosen by fate. The moment he finished speaking, Wekapipo suddenly pulled a small knife from his pocket and drove it straight toward his own throat. Gyro reacted instantly. One steel ball slammed into Wekapipo's wrist, knocking the knife out of his hand. Wekapipo collapsed into the snow, shouting for Gyro to finish him off. The mission had failed. There was nowhere left for him to go. But Gyro answered, "You really think you've got nowhere to belong?" Back when Gyro failed the operation and couldn't restore the girl's eyesight, his father once spoke to him privately about what had really happened. The girl's former husband's family was powerful and influential. Their son had died in a duel, and they had no intention of letting it go. Even after Wekapipo was taken out, they still planned to go after the girl. But once they saw that she had gone completely blind and could barely even take care of herself, they stopped bothering her. If Gyro's surgery had succeeded, that girl would have been killed without question. And now, that same girl, Wekapipo's younger sister, had already been secretly relocated to the countryside by Gyro's father. The old Zeppeli Wekapipo had hated for so long was actually the man who saved both him and his sister. After hearing the truth, Wekapipo was left speechless. At that moment, Gyro and Johnny's horses came running back toward them. Following the sound of the hoofbeats, the two of them suddenly spotted the wolf pup. Turns out, the place where the little wolf had been lying earlier was the native trail Gyro mentioned before. Under the ice were countless frozen wooden planks. Most of the shotgun pellets had been blocked by the wood beneath the surface. The wolf pup had only suffered minor injuries. Looking ahead, wooden planks beneath the ice, stretching for miles all the way to the opposite shore. The route was right beneath their feet, which also meant the path Pocoloco had taken had no wooden planks beneath the ice. There was no way they'd dare move quickly. If they chased after them now, they could still catch up. Looking at the two standing before him, Wekapipo quietly muttered, "Miracles, huh? So, should I believe in miracles too?" This enemy, who also fought using steel balls, Wekapipo, had now joined Johnny and Gyro's side. In the battle earlier, Wekapipo finally understood the true intentions behind old Zeppeli's actions. Ashamed of himself, he could not say a word. Before leaving, Gyro told him, "My old man helped you. Now do me a favor in return. Mr. Steele's wife, Lucy, could be in danger at any moment. Once your wounds heal, go protect her for us. The person you guard doesn't always have to be a king or a president. right? Protecting a girl is fine too. Johnny and I still have the race and the corpse parts to deal with, so we're leaving this job to you. Wekapipo gladly accepted, and from that moment on, he officially joined Johnny and Gyro's side. But 4 weeks earlier, a recovery team had pulled Lucy's body from the river. After escaping the president's residence, Hot Pants used cream starter to create a new face for the First Lady. She stitched up the wounds on the body and staged it to look like a drowning victim. From that moment on, the Lucy Steele, known to the public, was officially declared dead, and the real Lucy had completely taken the place of the First Lady, Scarlet. But how could Steele fail to recognize the wife he loved so deeply? After seeing the body, he immediately realized it wasn't Lucy at all. The only thing that matched was the face. With everything spiraling out of control like this, how would it all end? Do you know what it takes to survive the Steel Ball Run? Most riders could only travel around 50 to 70 kilometers a day. That distance was considered the limit if they wanted to keep their horses from collapsing or getting injured. Gyro and Johnny never paid attention to the people desperately pushing themselves to the brink just to pass them, because to them, those riders were basically throwing their lives away. Sooner or later, they would end up dropping out. While crossing the Arizona desert, the temperature at noon could reach 50 degrees Celsius. Once it passed 11 inches the morning, the two of them would always find shade and sleep through the heat. Then, after sunset, they would continue moving again. If the moon was out, they would ride at full speed through the night. But on pitch black nights, they would camp on the spot to avoid their horses getting hurt in the dark. Whenever they camped, they would spend hours brushing the horses. It helped ease the strain in their muscles while also getting rid of bugs and preventing sickness. And if they ever came across a narrow pass or a stretch of road lined with graves, they had to stay extra cautious, because places like that were perfect spots for bandits waiting in ambush. But out of every obstacle on the road, crossing rivers was by far the worst. Both rider and horse would be completely vulnerable. Not only did they have to deal with swarms of insects, they also had to watch out for snakes in the water. If a horse got bitten even once, their race would be over on the spot. Still, there were moments during the race worth enjoying too, like the Italian coffee Gyro always made. That thick black coffee, dark as tar, mixed with an absurd amount of sugar. One cup alone could wipe away all their exhaustion. Sometimes, Gyro would even let the horses drink some too. In the end, this race was never just about speed. The contestants had to constantly read the terrain and weather, doing everything they could to preserve both their own stamina and their horse's strength. Anyone who failed to understand that never stood a chance. After crossing the 45th parallel north, the two of them only moved forward when the snowstorms blew from behind or from the sides. The moment they encountered a blizzard head-on, they would immediately stop and find shelter. At times, they had to wait there for 2 or even 3 days. If they acted recklessly for the sake of speed, both rider and horse would end up buried beneath the frozen wilderness. And after enduring all of that, the two of them finally reached the final stretch of the 6th stage, overtaking the leading group headed by Poco Loco. Did you know? In the anime adaptation of Steel Ball Run, Poco Loco's stand appearance was omitted. Was it really just because his stand had no real ability and could only cheer Poco Loco on? Back at the 6th stage, Johnny and Gyro finally overtook the leading group led by Poco Loco just before reaching the finish line. With the goal right in front of them, Johnny relaxed immediately. To him, Poco Loco was nothing more than a third-rate rider. Third-rate? Gyro's expression suddenly turned serious. Johnny, you don't actually believe that, do you? What do you think got that guy to the top of the rankings in the first place? Right then, Poco Loco's stand appeared once again. It told him to relax completely, to let himself drift with the blizzard. If he used the storm properly, victory would come to him naturally. After all, luck is on your side. Luck? I'm lucky? Poco Loco couldn't believe it. Gyro and Johnny already passed me, but the stand answered calmly, so what? There's still only a short distance ahead of you. When everyone's pushed to their absolute limit, right before the finish line, what do you think matters most? That's right, luck. This blizzard was blowing for your sake. Meanwhile, Gyro and Johnny had already begun their final sprint through the storm. Only 700 meters remained before the end of the stage. As long as they stayed in the lead, Gyro would finally claim the stage victory. But then, the blizzard suddenly stopped. And as the snow cleared, their vision finally opened up. Right in front of them was a cliff. They had taken the wrong path. Gyro and Johnny were leading the race the whole way, and the finish line was finally within reach. But one wrong turn sent them straight toward a cliff. If they wanted to keep going, they'd have to turn back and take the long way around. And if that happened, there'd be no way they could catch up to Poco Loco again. Was Gyro really about to lose another stage victory? No, Gyro and Johnny weren't the type to fall apart when things went bad. Even as the cliff got closer and closer, neither of them slowed down for a second. One glance from Johnny, and Gyro immediately understood. Should I throw one steel ball or both? Johnny activated the golden spin. One's enough. Whatever you do, don't slow down. The moment he said that, he fired several shots into the ground. The bullet holes twisted forward in a winding path, stretching all the way to the edge of the cliff. At the same time, Gyro made his move. Using the power of the spin, he pulled every single bullet hole onto the steel ball, and under the rotation of the nail bullet holes, the steel ball was somehow shaved down into thin metal wires. Then, as the steel ball slammed into the cliff on the opposite side, a steel wire bridge stretched across the gap. One after another, the two horses raced across the steel cables. Even Pocoloco was left completely stunned by what he was seeing. What the hell? What even is that? How did the steel ball turn into steel wires? Before he could even process what happened, Johnny and Gyro had already crossed the finish line. After witnessing such an unbelievable performance, the entire crowd erupted into thunderous cheers and applause. After crossing nearly half of America and surviving countless near-death situations along the way, Gyro had finally won his very first stage. The two of them raised their arms and shouted in triumph, fully enjoying the glory of the moment. But hidden in the shadows, someone else was watching them. It was Magent Magent, the man whose head Gyro had supposedly blown apart earlier. Somehow, he had miraculously survived, and he had overheard everything about Wekapipo going to protect Lucy. Now the only question was, how exactly was he going to take revenge on them?